Hi, this is David K, and you're listening to Altered Geek. Geek.
Get altered, get geeky, it's a wild ride. Join the discussion, let's dive into lore. From Star Trek to Transformers, we're ready to soar. Superheroes clash as we spark up the flame. Altered Geek Podcast, remember the name.
Hello and welcome to, I think, the first episode of Altered Geek for the year. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me on this adventure into geekdom is TFG1 Mike.
Would you like me to actually keep your show up to date?
No.
I think you are correct, sir.
I think I'm correct. It's there's been a lot going on, so that's more so why I have not done a new episode. Not for lack of wanting to, it's just time, effort, busy schedule, being sick. Yeah, just ton of different reasons.
We take it all back, folks, because 1.21 gigawatts. January 21st, you did Steve Megatron Returns in 2025. So this is technically the second. Yeah. This is the second episode of 2025.
So it's been a little bit since you've been on the show.
What are cobwebs in here?
Yeah, there's cobwebs. You've of course been podcasting like crazy still.
You think? I think I've gone insane.
Yeah, that's normal.
No, dude, this is not normal. No, this is not normal for me. Like, normal for me is brain broke, brain dead, brain no work no more. No, we're all mad here.
I've been sidelined with I got a new 3D printer. I got the Anycubic Cobra S1 combo with the Ace Pro. It's got the dehydrator built in so it can run while it's printing, which has been nice because I've got old filaments that were basically hydrated from the air, which were causing issues on my old Ender, and I sold that back in November, December. I got tired of fiddling with it, and this printer, I haven't had any issues, and the issues I have had have been operator error. Majority of them, and honestly, I've gotten great prints out of it. I've fully printed my Beast Machine Megatron, which
only took you 16 years.
Yeah. I'm still working on painting him, and then I gotta glue him and kind of like tighten up some of the joints. But I was able to not only print some of the sections, like the cloak alone was going to take 17 hours for one section of it on my old printer. It took 5 or 6 on this one.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it spit it out fast. Like I had to reprint the collar on him 3 times because 2 of the copies were brittle, and I printed them thicker each time. So the third time I ended up with a set that was pretty decent, and I still got to work on printing or painting them and kind of detailing it. But overall, it's at least printed, which is a plus. And then I've been printing shelving and display pieces for my other figures for my cabinet. So like my Star Trek stuff, I printed Captain Kirk's chair. I printed some display stands. For my Marvel characters, I printed display stands, as well as like these. They're kind of these round pucks of sorts with like a little nub on them and a stick so that you can put the superhero helmet on it.
Yeah.
And so I put those in so I could have their like real faces for like Iron Man and Spider-Man and Wolverine. And then I printed a couple of stands for my Dragon Ball Z stuff. And then I printed my Power Ranger shelf was probably the biggest disaster out of everything because they all just kind of look jumbled together. And I printed some of these display shelves in different colors, and then I printed the little head pieces for the helmet so I could put all their real faces on for the ones that I had real faces, because some of them I got used and some new and different states of repair. So I was able to stagger them. I was able to have their weapons out. I was able to have the helmets on and, everything else. So you can actually see everything now, which has been nice. So that's part of what has been keeping me preoccupied. I'm kind of at this lull right now where I'm like, I don't really know what to print at the moment. I'm about to ship out your stuff. I was just waiting for the temperature to drop, which it did. Because I want to make sure that it makes it there in one piece and doesn't like break or melt or whatever. Because 3D printing, I don't get the ABS like stuff that is heat resistant. So it's it should be fine because they're thick enough prints, but I still want to make sure that nothing happens in transit. Exactly. So I'm like, I will package these up and mail them out as soon as the weather permits. And so like temperatures drop, so I'll probably mail it the next day or so. But yeah, I mean, this thing spits out stuff fast. I printed like the spitting discs for like Ian's depth charge. I've printed like the cat feet thing for the covert agent Ravage.
Nice.
Because he, how they had those little narrow feet on him.
Yep.
And it didn't really fit. And I was like, I saw some free files and I'm like, let's see how this works. And so I printed it and like it slips on just like a slipper.
Nice. Very cool.
So I was like, it's funny. So
a cat wearing slippers. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Good. And then, of course, I've been preoccupied with watching various shows, Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine, and then Dragon Ball Daima, which just concluded in Japan. 20 episode series that was kind of a anniversary of Dragon Ball, and they definitely mixed parts of GT in it, and some fans are whiny and some fans are not, and I'm just happy it happened and the way that it did. And I'm waiting for some a couple of the figures that are in the show.
Yep, absolutely.
Specifically, spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen the ending yet, although it's been all over social media. If you've even seen any Googling on Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan 4 Goku in Daima actually becomes canon. So
interesting.
Both as a kid and as an adult.
Oh boy.
So I'm pretty happy about that. So I've already seen the figures for the kid version, which I'm like, do I get that or do I get the adult? Because I already have GTs, but
very cool, very cool. Yeah, no, the end of 2024 was so I tried to do 25 days of Studio 2009. Actually, no, technically I didn't try to do that. I tried to do 31 days of Studio 2009. I made it to 15.
I mean, that's better than what I did, which was like 2.
Okay, but so in order for me to do stuff like that in the future, I'm going to have to like pre-produce. I'm already in the midst of currently doing stuff like this. I'm going to have to pre-produce everything. And my buddy Dave Draper, who does the Columbo files with me, which is it's a preset show within Studio 2009, where we discuss every episode of the television show Columbo from the 70s. starring the amazing Peter Falk, about the frumpy detective from the 70s television. And Dave's just like, I don't care when they release as long as we can record them. So we're recording stuff already. Like, we're in the middle of season 3, and I haven't even released season 2 yet on Studio 2009. So we're going to be very well set up for the future of Studio 2009. I just have to make sure I make mention in certain episodes of when certain things are coming up, because season 3 of Studio 2009 will be during the episode 171 to 178 run of the show, of the podcast. So I got to mention in 175 that we're 25 away from 200. So you'll have to come up with something that you absolutely want to discuss that we haven't discussed before for 200, since I usually give you first crack at major milestones on whatever podcasts you and I do. Studio 2009, almost at, I mean, I'm in the middle of editing 126, 127, and 120. Well, we have to record 128, but the point is we're doing a Sonic triple threat, triple feature for the Sonic movies over there. And then I've got a couple other episodes here and there. And then season 2 of Columbo will air. And then I've got other things going on. At some point, you and I will get to do shipping. Wow. Yeah, see, that's the other thing, folks. My brain damage does not let me talk as well as I used to anymore, apparently. I have tongue-tied and twisted myself on podcasts more times in the last month and a half than I have in the last 16 years of doing this. Shifting gears is what I was trying to say, so you and I will do that show at some point, whether it's live as the show airs or whether it's after the fact. Somebody said something about Hulu was down recently. I
think it crashed during the Oscars.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. And my first thought was to those of us that actually still, I don't currently subscribe to Hulu. I wish I still did, but I will eventually again. My first thought was to those people who still subscribe to Hulu by itself. You can do it 2 ways. You can do it by itself on its own, pay for it that way, or you can do it as part of one of the Disney bundle options. And I was going to ask a buddy of mine who said, it's how I found out. A buddy of mine said, oh, it's down. I was going to ask him if it was just the Hulu website that was down, or if it was also the Hulu under Disney Plus website that was down too, because I would have been curious to know if it was both or if it was just the Hulu website. And of course, the Oscars is going to crash Hulu because it's the, oh God.
I've never been a fan of an award show.
I know.
But
hey, look, so the last time I think we majorly talked about the Oscars is the slap that shouldn't have happened. Right? I'm thinking that's the last time, probably the last time we talked about it. And this time we can actually talk about it for an actually amazing thing. Freaking Fuller, man. Kieran Culkin. Have you seen that clip?
I saw that clip earlier today.
Okay,
that's good. Hilarious. He's like, good. Yeah, about winning the Oscar. The deal he had with his wife.
I loved it. So good. I love that. Is moments like that.
He was like, let's get to work.
Yeah, let's get to work on making them kids. She's like, It's moments like that. It's moments like when oh God, I'm going to screw his name up. Short Round. God, sorry. Kihu Kwan. I'm sorry if I screwed that up. But it's like when he got his Oscar or his win. It's moments like that I love the award show for. Everything else, throw it out the friggin' window.
Oh no, I agree with you.
They were doing honors for Ledger that it had been the 15-year anniversary since he won his posthumously or something. I kept seeing clips of that. I don't know what.
Yeah, I saw something with him with the video camera and
I understand, celebrate the life that the man had and all that and everything else, but I don't know. They do some weird things in Hollywood. But then again, it's Hollywood.
Holly weird.
That's right, Holly weird. What else you got?
Well, I don't know if you've seen this bit of news, but Shatner was talking about returning to Trek.
Yes, I think you pointed that out to me.
I was like, yes. Not for like a long engagement. I mean, the dude's 93.
Yeah.
Hit the probability of him, living through an entire show. I'm not saying that to be mean.
I know.
Dude's just old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still like him for playing the character. And the fact that he's open to it, especially after that O-Toy unification short.
Oh. Oh, God. That was...
I actually liked that. I was able... But I know the lore. So, to me... It was an important closure, and it was giving. And what made it better to me, I know that they used AI for it and they used practical effects. They used like Sam Witwer to play young Kirk and all the various versions of the body double.
Yeah,
because he looks close enough. They got the hairdo, like they just did the hairdo on him, and then they grafted Shatner's face on him and de-aged it, and. So he had the mannerisms down. Like the dude's a huge nerd. It felt right.
I love Sam Witwer. Absolutely. He's awesome.
Like he's the reason why some of the Star Wars stuff that he's been involved with has been good is because he's a huge nerd and he takes it seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when they asked him to do it, and be a part of it, and then Shatner's in it, and then they had, Robin Curtis playing Saavik back, and then various other characters, and they had Kirk basically coming back from the dead after Generations. They kind of they precluded it with old Spock, which was body doubled, and they had somebody they grafted the face on and had him meeting at Kirk's grave, and then they had the Enterprise D being lifted off the planet, and then you see Kirk's body, and they allude to it in Picard season 3 where he's alive but in a tank. And so it references this thing called Project Phoenix, and so realistically they could bring Kirk back. And so they had this thing with Roddenberry and the O-Toy unification short with Kirk basically traveling to the Kelvin universe.
Nice,
to wish Spock farewell as Spock was on his deathbed, so that the two friends could reunite, and Spock could die with his friend. And there was no words.
Nope.
It was very tastefully done. Like they could have ruined it by putting dialogue, but instead they let the emotion of the scene and the characters, deep mythology kind of play into it.
It's visual, and you could feel it. Yeah, absolutely. It was visual storytelling at its best. Like you said, you didn't need, again, to quote, not quote, but to call back to Joe and I doing the Turtles book, there's an issue that we covered where I think it's issue 124. There's one of the issues in one of the trades where it starts off, and the entire issue, it's a catch-up issue. Like it's telling you where everyone in the book is and what they're doing, but there's no dialogue, balloons, there's no word balloons, there's no nothing. It's just the pictures, and you have to infer what's going on by just looking at it. And this is the same thing with this O2 whatever commercial. Same thing. You have to draw the lines. You have to draw the parallels yourself. You have to look at it as visual storytelling, and that's great that they did that. That was such a good thing that they did. That was awesome.
But it also showed Shatner, and it showed others that there are possibilities.
Yeah.
Especially for reviving characters that have passed on, or giving Kirk one last, hurrah in the saddle. And
I mean,
I get it, but people were generally, I mean, I know they kind of tied it up with the Otoy thing, but people generally hated the ending of Generations, that they the studio decided they wanted to kill Kirk, not everybody else.
That's the studio's problem. That's on them. That's not on the actor. That's not on the person who stars as the character. That's not on the character itself. That's the heads up our asses people's problem.
It reminds me of the Clark Griswold Christmas Vacation, where
that's right,
where he's watching all of the corporate butt kissers kind of go by, and he's
Merry
like,
Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would love another, one last outing with Shatner's Kirk.
Yeah, that would be cool. What would be really, and I don't know, you'll have to tell me, because I've tried to avoid all spoilers whatsoever, and most of the time I won't remember anyways, but since we are at some point, once we finish one podcast to start the other podcast, we did technically start one podcast over a year ago, but it is what it is. We will be going on an altered trek once we finish off a world of a podcaster this year at some point. But I have never, the only thing I remember about Into Darkness is how horrible of a Wrath of Khan ripoff it is. So that's all I remember about that. I've never seen Star Trek Beyond, so I have no idea how that story ends. Is there a way that you could have the two Kirks together as his kind of final? I know that's probably not what you would want, but that's just my initial thought of having Shatner's big send-off be a Star Trek 4 film.
I mean, it technically could be, because Kirk is in the Kelvin timeline when Spock dies. So it's possible.
I don't know,
but I don't know. The way they made it sound is because Shatner said something about he's been approached about a new Star Trek show in development.
Okay. All right. Well,
and he's been asked, back as Kirk so many times, and he's like, I mean, if he's going to come back, it has to mean something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he said he was impressed by this writer that he said, let's talk after he went to, Vancouver Fan Expo. Ooh. And so hopefully,
you never know,
something comes to fruition, even if it's a short installment, like a 6-episode season, like just a.
Well, Steve, don't you know 6 episodes is all you need on certain platforms? That's all seasons are now. 6 episodes. Bob's your uncle. There you go. Both Bobs are your uncle now. Sorry,
yeah. Not Disney. Not Disney.
I know it's not Disney.
But no, I mean, I would love for that to happen. That would be cool. Just done right.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Otherwise, don't do it.
Exactly. Can't do it right, don't do it at all.
But I've been having fun looking at all of that, and then in the interim, all of the various toy news and things popping up, and which we can talk about that on Toycast.
On Toycast, yeah.
About Toy Fair. There's still more stuff popping up that.
Yeah, I want to wait until after it's died to make sure we have everything that we're interested in. We can gather that all together and just do one big shenanigans show. And yep.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff from Mondo. Too pricey for my blood, but yeah, I mean, I've seen some pretty neat stuff kind of coming out of that, and then been kind of paying attention to. I've been trying to watch like it's switching gears or shifting gears. Shifting gears. I always get it so mixed up. Like I don't know why. Like it's.
Think mechanical. Shifting gears.
Shift. Yeah.
Well, shift.
Yeah, it's a little shifty. But no, I mean, I'm enjoying what I've seen of it so far. I've only watched first like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of just been busy, so I forgot to watch any further. Yeah. But
I think it's going to be better for us, like podcast wise, to wait until the whole season's out. I hope it's not going to be 22 episodes, but if it is, it is. I have a season format. It's not that big of a deal, but
I don't see it going that direction, but that's just me.
Yeah. But all of the advertisements and all of the clips I see on Instagram for it, like every time I'm like, oh, very cool, very funny, very this, very that. So yeah.
Well, they brought Nancy Travis back.
Yep. But she's not his blah 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 because they didn't want to do that again.
No.
She's a will they won't they will they won't they most likely won't blah blah blah. And there's somebody else.
And then there's talks of him bringing various kids from his other shows.
Yep. Oh yeah, we can do it at the end of March. It's a 10-episode run for the first season, so that's not bad.
So it's typical modern day.
Yeah, typical modern day. Good.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said that. But again, folks, at least it's not just 6 episodes and that's a season.
It's like, at least give me 13.
10, 13, I can handle. Anything less than that, you're a miniseries.
Yep. And then, of course, the big news, Skype is going bye-bye.
Okay, this prompted me to do a live stream on YouTube by myself.
Really?
Oh, you missed it. I can send you the link you can put in the show notes. Yeah. Because at first I thought Kai and I were going to do it on Dragon's Lair. We didn't get a chance to do Dragon's Lair. The thing is, I spent 47 minutes. I went off topic because I was interacting with the audience or whatever else, but literally this was 3 days ago as of this recording now. So whenever the hell 3 days ago was this March 1st? So 3 days ago. You can here, let me you're not going to be able to see this, folks, but I can probably take a better screenshot of it when not that Steve's going to put it in the post, but I'm going to send this to him just so he can show, just so he knows. This is why I use Steve as my artificial intelligence robot, because Steve's intelligence is actual intelligence and not artificial. Look at that thumbnail. That's beautiful artistic work by me, isn't it, for that Skype thumbnail? That's amazing, isn't it? I mean,
no comment.
I should win awards for that, right? I should be recognized for that, correct? Like, I mean, compared to, what Steve does on the regular basis.
Well, I mean, if somebody can tape a banana to a wall on a canvas and get $100,000 for it, I mean, it's subjective.
Just the video link for later. But yeah, no. Okay, so here's my issue. I am not going to sit there and judge Teams because I've never used Teams. I've never looked at Teams. Okay, well, you can give your opinion in a moment and you can tell me yay, nay, or horsey go boom, whatever. When we started, however many years ago it was, XXXXX years ago, 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever, we used Skype and we used Pamela Call Recorder. Because back then, Skype did not have a built-in call recorder.
No, it did not.
You had to use a third-party call recorder to record your Skype calls. And this was, I believe at the time, audio only. I don't think Pamela did video. If they did... Now, see, when I had Pamela, it was... Here's Pamela. It's technically free. This is kind of what they do now with Zoom. You can have up to 45 minutes for free, but we really want you to pay us so you can get longer times. Pamela, you could have a certain amount for free, but if you wanted, and this is what I did every single time, I only did this once with Pamela, and it was amazing. I paid like $10 for a lifetime license to Pamela Call Recorder, and I never had to pay again. If I only have to pay for the thing once, I'm good. If I have to pay annually, I'm good. If I have to pay monthly for a maybe we can talk, but I don't know. So anyway, Skype was just it. We never usually had more than 5 or 6. Most of the time, we never usually had more than 5 people on a podcast, unless we were doing big countdowns and things. I remember Skype calls crashing because certain other people try to have 7, 8, 9, 10 people on Skype calls back in the 2009, 2010 to do watch parties on Skype. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is not what this is for, people, whatsoever. It's not built for that. No. And we would just record the shows. Yeah, some of the Skype audio was bad in the early days, and because we weren't recording on individual separate tracks like we are now with Discord and whatever else. But, it was part of the zeitgeist. It was the easiest thing in the world. Hey, you got Skype? If you don't have Skype, the easiest thing in the world, here you go. Here's the download link. It's free to sign up. Doesn't cost, as long as you have a Skype account, it doesn't cost you anything to call me or for me to call you, and it was just freaking easy. 2 decades, dude, 2003 to 2025. Skype at some point, I think in 2014, if I'm remembering correctly,
they got bought out.
Yeah, Microsoft bought them. Microsoft,
which I knew was not, which was an omen for death.
Well, yeah, but hey,
slow and painful.
Yeah, they lasted 11 more years, but Microsoft slowly just didn't do anything with it. They bought it to shelve it. Unfortunately, they bought it to swallow up competition. Is what they bought it for. And I'm going to say that as a quote-unquote fact because I may not know what's going on at the inner workings of Microsoft and all that because I've never worked for them, but what do companies do when they want to do their own thing? They will buy up the competition to get rid of the competition. That's what's happened throughout this entire history of our United States of America here in the past, however many centennials we've had. I wish when Microsoft had bought them, it would have bought it for the purpose of, hey, we're going to elevate it. We're going to improve it. We're going to make it the new thing. We're going to make it the new Microsoft Skype. It could be the new MS. Like, instead of the new MT with Microsoft Teams. Ugh.
So, I use Teams with work.
Mm-hmm.
I find it so confusing. Well, because Skype, when they changed it, remember when they started having that stupid format where they started having the big O screen where it blows out and then you have like all the different channels and it was kind of like a hybrid of what they wanted in what Discord was, you know. So they took that and made it, mixed it with something else in Teams and made Teams out of it. I don't love the structure because they have like these nested, like they want to be a Slack or they want to be Discord, but then they have like these nested channels that you kind of are in, and then you can have different like attachments or different discussions based on certain topics in there. And when you have like a whole organization, it gets very difficult to follow and to stay up with anything. So it ends up being like a glorified instant messenger that becomes like part of a like an overblown Facebook group.
Oh my God, no.
Or private group, more or less. And so like it's, I don't know, I just find it very confusing and too tedious to use. And so when we have to use it for work purposes, like I'm not fond of it. I use it out of necessity alone. And if it wasn't required, I wouldn't use it at all.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like it. I honestly, I'm to the point now with my digital media that I don't want to sign up for any more social media accounts. I don't want to download any more like connectivity apps.
Yeah.
Like I have Facebook, I have LinkedIn, I have YouTube, I have Twitter, I have Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads. The Threads is kind of dead and pointless. Instagram's still usable, Twitter's still usable. Blue Sky I find to be like it wants to be Twitter, but it's like the little engine that could.
Yeah.
And just there's not really much value there.
Yeah.
I still find that Twitter is still superior in that regard. Like I don't care who runs it. That doesn't matter. Like honestly they all suck. But I almost prefer to just be on Discord. Like kind of solely and just communicate with people and just leave it at that, because I still spend more time on that or Facebook Messenger or Twitter than I do anything else. And that's kind of been my whole thing for years. So
it's kind of weird. Like, I'm going to bring up, I was going to bring up something else, but talking about Twitter. Okay. I remember, I'm actually on my Twitter page right now.
I'm actually looking at my liked feed right now because the next thing I'm going to bring up is in there.
Right. Oh, okay. So I joined Twitter in July of 2008. Okay. And folks, look here. Yes, I'm going to be the old man that does the old man voice and says, look here, sonny boy, we're going to be calling it Twitter no matter what you say or what you think or what you name your kids of Xing out this, that, and the other thing, because it's just better. Because Twitter is a better, or Twitter as a term, as a word, as a whatever, it's in our social media zeitgeist of language. You can't erase 16, 17, almost 20 years of language of using a certain term in however the hell long that Cologne has owned it. So the reason why I'm going off on all of this is because I looked at my Twitter the other day and I'm like, oh, crap. So in the last month, this is going to be quick, I promise. I retweeted something from In Search of Physical Media, which is an account to speak for itself, right? Okay. About the 4K release of The Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel Jackson. I think Gina Davis is in that. I love that movie. I can't wait till that comes out on 4K. That was February 3rd. Okay. And then posted something 4 days ago. I replied to somebody 4 days ago. I posted another thing 4 days ago that we will get into later because unfortunately, sadly, and weirdly, there's something going on with this story. Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog died. I don't understand. Gene Hackman and his wife and their dog, may they all rest in peace, but I just quote tweeted discussing film, and I just said damn. And then 14 hours ago, I retweeted a cover from Jorge Fornes, cover for TMNT issue number 11, TMNT number 11, the new series from IDW. They redid their series since Jason Aaron is now running it. But basically, like 5 tweets in the last month. I haven't done just 5 tweets in the last month since like ever. 2008, 2009, 2010. We were having conversations on Twitter. You and I were. I was having conversations with a bunch of other people. We were actually talking on this social media platform. And now I'm like 5 tweets in a month? Like, really? Seriously? I get in, I post what I want to post, and I get the hell out. I am not on Twitter as much as I used to be whatsoever. Next.
I still live on there. I don't care.
I'm not saying, look, I get it, but it's like, I don't know.
I've found too, if you follow more of the dumpster fire, you'll see more of the dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, I already undid all that.
As did I.
Dumpster fire 1, dumpster fire 2 with the hair. Cut off at the nips. It's done. I'm more on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, I get sucked into reels so damn. I'll see a reel that I like from a comedy troupe or something, and then I'll just start scrolling, and I'll find another thing that I like. I'll end up doom scrolling Instagram for 20 minutes. Yeah, it's crazy.
So jumping onto something different, I don't know if you saw this teaser, but Truck 5.
Oh God!
Did you know that was coming?
I saw all of the. I don't think I've actually seen the teaser trailer or whatever trailer they put out. I'll have to go back and watch that. But I saw all the commotion about it. I saw all the online uproar about it, about the daughter.
Yeah, so the daughter is being played by Zendaya.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they're just kind of jamming down everybody's throats. Like they tried to make her, she was a Disney thing, and then she, she's been on a lot of different stuff, and then she got moved over to the Spider-Man stuff, and I found her kind of flat there. And then she's playing the daughter of Shrek.
Which, okay, sure.
And yeah, so I mean, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, Zendaya, they're in it, and then the Pinocchio, and they got him scrolling through like the magic mirror and seeing all these different stuff, and people are like, oh, what'd they do to Fiona? Oh, what'd they do to Shrek? What'd they, Donkey looks homeless, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, they're a cartoon, and you're talking, it's been what, 10, 15 years since the last one, and they're complaining that it's, the animation's changed somewhat, like, and they're trying to recapture it.
Yeah. It's been 24 years since the first one. I was in theaters for the first one.
What year did that come out?
2001.
Okay. I think I saw that.
24 years. I was with my mom, my aunt, and my cousin at the time. We went to go see Shrek in theaters. We actually saw Shrek, and we saw on a different outing that year. We saw Shrek and A Knight's Tale. But yeah, I think I saw the fourth film. I remember up to the third film. I remember up to Shrek the Third.
Same. I don't remember the fourth.
I know there is a fourth film. I think I saw the fourth film, but I don't remember the fourth film to save my life. People were taking bets on me to remember a plot synopsis of a fourth film that came out, would you say, 15 years ago or whatever it was?
Something.
Good luck with that, folks.
I don't remember. And then I know they came out with like a 2 Puss in Boots movies, and
yeah,
which kind of was like, eh.
Oh my god, this is how bad it is with my brain, folks. I just spelled it as shirk, SESHERK. That's not how that's spelled. Yeah, shirk. We're gonna shirk this right now. Oh god, that's very, very, very bad. Where is? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, Shrek Forever After was 2010. And Shrek 5 is December 23rd of next year.
Yeah, so it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
And people are throwing a colossal fit over how they look?
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's like, I don't know, man. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. That's the same type of outrage I was noticing with like Dragon Ball Daima. People were throwing a fit because Goku goes Super Saiyan 4 in it. And one, it's homaging like all of Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. And he didn't create GT, but he was kind of the Akira Toriyama, the guy that created Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all that. He didn't create Dragon Ball GT. He did design some of the stuff, but the people that kind of ran with it when he was kind of done, he kind of gave them their blessing and then just was like, all right, have fun with it, blah, blah, blah. Like, he designed some stuff, but they ultimately came up with Super Saiyan 4. And so he homaged that in Daima and gave it a little bit different aesthetic, different, a little bit different colors and a little bit different stuff with the outfit and things like that. And people were flipping out. Like, and I'm like, just be grateful he made it canon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and yes, like, I get it. Like, Dragon Ball is so full of continuity issues across all of the series.
Yeah.
Like, there was something in Super and in Daima, and he made both, and there's continuity issues right in the first episodes of both. Like,
oh no.
So I mean, but it's like, okay, guys, like, let's take a chill pill. Like, I get it. Like, it's frustrating to me too. Like, I find it's a little less irritating in animation as opposed to like a Star Trek.
Yeah.
Where you've got the 60 years worth of stuff. And like, yes, some things could be retconned, based on budget or things like that later.
Yep.
Like Strange New Worlds, they retconned the fact that the bridge looks so advanced compared to the original series. Well, it's like, well, you're dealing with 1960s production versus,
2020 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I can overlook that. I can overlook the Enterprise looking a little bit different. I can overlook, the uniforms a little bit different, just based on alone the fact that we're dealing with different decades.
Okay, question.
What I didn't get behind was when they changed the Klingons to look like orcs.
No, you can't do that. Don't. Not everything has to be a flipping orc. I almost said.
Yeah. So, anyways, but that's what I was getting at is like, there's a tasteful way of doing it, and a tasteful, but I was just kind of like,
Where does Strange New World, when, at what point in the Star Trek timeline does Strange New Worlds take place? 24th century, 27th century?
23rd. It's before Kirk took the Enterprise.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So it's before Kirk becomes captain of the Enterprise, and he's like Lieutenant Kirk when he shows up.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Just briefly perusing the Shrek Forever After Wikipedia page here. I'm remembering this movie now. Rumpelstiltskin is in it, and it's Shrek is tired of being a family man and a celebrity, longing for the days of wanting to be alone in the swamp and having privacy. And Rumpelstiltskin comes along and tells him to, prick his finger on a spindle or whatever the hell. It's a Rumpelstiltskin story.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah. So Shrek 5, let me look here. Yeah, so we don't know who. I hope they bring back a lot of the other people because, man. So, wow, really? The fifth film was initially planned after the release of the second one. So this was planned all the way back then. Wow. With a 2013 release date in mind. Gee. Well, we're going to get it in 2026. X number of years too late.
So you want to hear something else funny? You remember how I said they're trying to shove Zendaya down everybody's throat?
Uh-huh.
There's talks of a Hancock 2 with Will Smith.
Yes.
And Zendaya.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm like, why? Some movies just need to be left alone.
Yeah.
No sequels,
absolutely.
Just leave alone. It's like Suburban Commando. It's like you wouldn't want a sequel to that.
Oh my god. Why would you don't give them Space Jam and New Legacy was bad enough, man. Don't give them ideas.
Well, and that's the thing is like studios need to learn sequels decades later don't work. The only one I want is Ace Ventura 3.
Why?
Because I want to see Jim Carrey come back and have fun.
Yeah, other than the fact that he would come back and he would only come back to have fun. And I think he could other than the fact, but
I would really like to see it.
Yeah, again, if it's like he has said about Sonic and Sonic 2, 3, and 4. Sonic 4 is not a thing just yet, but he has said every time, as long as it's good, as long as it's something that is going to pique my interest and blah, 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 as long as they add something to it for me or whatever, and obviously out of the side of his mouth, as long as they pay me the $20 bazillion. And I know he's joking about that part because really he does want the creativity. I mean, that man doesn't need, at least I don't think. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen him on any celebrity tabloids lately. So, but yeah, no, it would be fun. It would be interesting, especially since last year was the 30th anniversary of the first film. It'd be fun. But yeah, Suburban Commando does not need a sequel this many years later.
The only reason I brought it up, I recently watched it again.
You really?
Yeah, I watched it. It was on, I think it was Prime Video.
Probably. I like that movie. It's a fun, little, interesting 1990, early 90s movie. It was a movie where let's take this wrestling star here, put him into this role here, and see what the hell kind of thing happens, man. It was fun. It was interesting. So yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I haven't really been doing too much else other than just kind of watching stuff and just kind of trying to knock out various projects and print everything I was trying to get printed. And I still want to print a Megatron helmet. Haven't quite gotten there yet. I think it'll fit my head on this print bed. I'm like 90% sure. But I want to print that Megatron helmet. And I don't need a vocoder because I can do the voice.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Absolutely.
So.
Yep.
So, I think that's about it on this episode. I don't think I have anything else.
Oh, I think I'm good.
So, I'm planning, so long as all my, health doesn't decline again and all of my prep with various projects, continue. I'm hoping to get to start the new M-Wire and get the next Cyber Dragon Ball episode recorded, and I have it like pretty much scripted out. As far as the Cyber Dragon Ball, the M-Wire, I've got kind of bullet point things saved for what I want to do.
Cool.
So we shall see.
Yes, we shall see.
I see things kind of loosening up once May hits. So my schedule's kind of nutsoid right now. And then once May hits, I'm foreseeing I should be back in kind of full swing of these. And I'm hoping to at least batch record some of these in the meantime. Not so much M-Wire. That'll be more of a live, like kind of more recent short show. By comparison, like it'll be like 10-15 minutes long, I'm estimating, and then Cyber Dragon Ball will be whatever it ends up being.
Very cool. Live and in your face.
Yeah, movie we can review.
That's right.
Old shows. Yes.
That's right.
So
we've got we're in the middle of Mutant March. We just celebrated 12 years of the Pull Bag. Episode 575 will be online by the time you hear this, most likely. I hope. I don't know. Hopefully. Studio 2009, I'm going to get to editing on 126, 127. So you'll hear Sonic 1, Sonic 2. Then we'll record Sonic 3 next week. And that'll be that trifecta. And then I've got a couple other episodes that I've recorded. And then we'll get into Columbo Season 2. So that'll be that. What else? Once Toy Fair finally ends, Steve and I will do a Toy Fair, a Toycast Toy Fair toy breakdown or whatever. I don't know. So we got a bunch of stuff. castradio.com, as always.
Yep. So thank you as always for listening to Altered Geek. I've been your host, Steve Megatron, with TFG1 Mike. Be sure to check out this episode on geekcastradio.com, and you can, of course, interact with us on our social media pages and the website. So until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.
From classic icons to new sci-fi dreams, with every episode we'll unravel the themes. Let's geek out and laugh, keep the spirits high. Together we'll journey, reaching for the sky. Join the discussion, let's dive into lore. From Star Trek to Transformers, we're ready to soar. Superheroes clash as we spark up the flame. Altered Geek Podcast, remember the name.